Welcome back. I'm still with Ben Habib. I will mention that he's a former deputy leader of Reform UK, but he's struck out on his own. Can say exactly what he likes, and he always says it. He says it so brilliantly as well. Ben, let's talk about the Trump effect. I've just discussed with Greg Swenson. We don't need to go over this. Let's not even consider the nonsense of what Joe Biden suggested when he said it was him that got the peace deal in Gaza. No, it wasn't. It was Donald Trump who said, if there's not a peace deal when I come into power, all hell will break loose. Shall we say that was the political equivalent of knocking heads together. So, yeah, good for him. That's the Trump effect internationally. But I just said to Greg, this is what I think. The most important thing that's going to happen in America, and it will reverberate around the world, is a kind of cultural sea change. We will emerge from the dark era of crazed wokery, nonsensical net zero. So I said to Greg, I think he'll revolutionise America and maybe the rest of the world too. He will re-establish good old-fashioned common sense, kill off net zero lunacy, restore prosperity, destroy woeful wokery and make God's own country the envy of the Western world. Meanwhile, we will have to peer across the Atlantic with envy because we're going to go to hell in a handcart thanks to the woke idiots who are ruining our country.
Well, the only way for us to keep up with the US is if we adopt their agenda, because they're going to supercharge their economy. They're going to be the place to invest because you'll get security, you'll get lower regulations, lower taxes. Money across the globe is going to move out of Europe, move out of the United Kingdom, move out of all countries that have adopted the net zero nonsense, high regulations, high taxes, and move to the States. And the only way to prevent that money from leaving the country is if we adopt the same agenda. So the pressure from Trump is going to come through the policies that he adopts for the US. But there's a more direct pressure I wanted to talk about. I was very pleased that we were going to talk about Trump tonight. There's a more direct pressure I think he can bring. One of the things he has said is that he wants members of NATO to pay up to spend up to 5% of GDP on their military. Actually, alongside, which is great, I think that's absolutely the right policy. Make Germany, France, all those other EU member states who are laggards, who don't stump up what's required in order to protect
They don't pay
Europe.
their bit, do they? No.
Make them pay up. But I think he can go further. NATO is all about the protection of basically the West. And what he should insist on is that if you want to be a member of NATO, you have to enforce your borders. No illegal migration allowed to cross. You have to challenge people physically at your borders in the way that he wishes to. He should make it a requirement that you detain and deport all people who enter your country illegally. And he can, through the mechanism of NATO, the protective blanket that the United States offers Western civilization, he can insist that Western nations wake up and start doing the right thing, or they will not have the protection of the US. And I hope he brings that pressure to bear on the Western world. We need that pressure. It's not just about having to follow suit for fear of ending up in recession and destitution. It's about having positive American pressure to do the right thing by the United Kingdom and Europe and so on.
Exactly right. To go back to the cultural sea change that I think will happen in America and that we desperately need, but I'm afraid these Labour lunatics will fend it off as much as they can. For example, you know, over in Los Angeles, my old hometown, these terrible fires. Well, one of the small solaces of that situation is as they burn, they are ruining the DEI industry, diversity, equality and inclusivity. You know, the LA Fire Department, the LAFD, is run by 3 lesbians. I'm sure they're all called, funnily enough, they're all called Christina. That's coincidental, but you know, I don't want to decry their talents, but I think we know what's going on there. This nonsense, you know, you've heard of defunding the police. The Los Angeles, the great city, the Democrat city of Los Angeles, defunded the fire department, took $49 million away from it, leaving the fire department unable to tackle these blazes. This madness brought into sharp focus by that catastrophe in the City of Angels over there on the West Coast in California, will put a flame to diversity, and that needs to go, that nonsense, doesn't it? We've just done
it absolutely does.
We've just done the story, Ben. I'd be interested in your comment. Talking of this crazy wokery, a police inspector of 27 years experience in the Merseyside police, a guy called Ross Meredith, has just been summarily sacked after 27 years for posting hurty words on social media about Just Stop Oil. He said that they behaved like spoilt special needs kids. This evil cult are so dim they simply don't realise the futility of their tantrums. And for this, he has been summarily dismissed because the Merseyside police said that his language undermined our considerable efforts to be an inclusive force that represents all of our diverse communities. We've had enough of this nonsense, haven't we?
We absolutely have, and for that to come from Merseyside police, the very police force that is responsible for overlooking what happened at Southport and all the things that went wrong in the protests that followed the Southport killings. Merseyside police have a lot to answer for, and I mean, I don't want to change the direction of travel of this conversation, but, Yvette Cooper, Keir Starmer, Merseyside police, they knew things about this guy, which they hid from the public, which we now know, like he had Al-Qaeda workbooks and ricin and so on, but they deliberately hid it. And Merseyside police probably did that in pursuit of the same DEI agenda to which you refer, because they feel absolutely cowed and unable to call a spade a spade. Westminster Council, I think, was out hiring minority ethnic people from minority ethnic backgrounds the other day. The Bank of England came out and said there's no need to have a background in finance. What we want is people with a diverse background.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that advertisement the other day.
Yeah.
The RAF is doing the same thing. They want fighter pilots from diverse backgrounds, not the best fighter jet pilots, but people from diverse. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care what color you are.
Exactly.
I don't care which flipping country your ancestors came from. Can you do the job? If you can't do the job, don't get the job.
Yeah.
And this whole obsession with equal outcomes, which is what this diversity agenda is all about, equal outcomes, is not just killing our economy, it's killing all our services. The defense of this realm depends on getting the best people in those jets to fight for this country.
Totally.
We've lost the plot. We've completely lost the plot.
One of the lesbians running the Los Angeles Fire Department, she actually said, this is before the fire, she said the most important thing for the Los Angeles Fire Department is diversity. Wouldn't you think, Ben, that maybe the most important thing for the LAFD would be putting out fires?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so obvious, but it clearly isn't the right answer, is it?
But this is we're laughing because if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. Yeah. But this is the madness from which we must emerge. Now, it's going to happen in America because of Trump. It's already happening in France, in Germany, and across Europe. Unfortunately, the lunatics, the socialist lunatics running our basket cakes country will preserve wokery for as long as they can. That's worrying.
Well, we have to just, we have to keep challenging it. We have to keep calling it out. We have to keep revealing the ill effects of their agenda. And I hope that pressure from across the Atlantic is now going to come heavily to bear on the United. We need tough love. It's not about circumventing the difficulties that Trump's going to create for Western civilization. It is, I embrace the difficulties he's going to create. I want his tough love, because through America's tough love, we will be forced to stand on our own 2 feet. That's what we need. That's
absolutely brilliant, Ben. What a great statement to finish on. Thank you very much to the brilliant Ben Habib. He'll be back whenever I can get him on, to be honest with you.